to another episode of Missing Mysteries in Black and White with you two hosts, myself Ed and my main man Josh.
How are we doing?
And as you can see, if you're actually watching us on YouTube, we have another very special guest who we mentioned last week. It was our good friend Alicia. How are we, Alicia?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very, very well. That's first thing as usual. Josh, how you been, my man?
Yeah, pretty much. Same old.
Yeah.
Check the merch.
Oh yeah, we
Come
even
on.
mentioned it.
Come
Yeah.
on.
What the fuck? Yeah, watch us on YouTube. You actually get to see we've actually started to get merch.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot better quality as well with the camera. Hopefully.
What, the merch? Oh, right. I was like, what? What? They get free camera? I was like, what's this happening? Yeah, you can actually see it better. It's all good. Yeah.
You know.
Oh no, it's been a long day. But yeah. So, thank you everyone who does listen and watch us. That's mint. This week we are talking about a very, very notorious serial killer in the UK history. He's been known as a cannibal, all sorts, rotten bastard, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that is Dennis Nilsen. And people might know from the ITV show Nilsen.
Yeah. Des.
That's it.
Which,
Des.
if you haven't seen, is unreal.
Yeah, and David Tennant plays Dennis Nilsen, and it just shows, well, it's very like dramatised and stuff, weren't it? But
they kept, in all fairness, actually, they kept as true to the actual story as they possibly could.
oh, good, did they? I ain't actually seen it.
Yeah, it's
I still
really,
haven't
really
seen
Do you
it.
know what? Considering I'm so into true crime, I've never watched it.
No?
I know it's
Oh,
really
mate,
dramatised,
it's
but
so
I've never
good.
actually...
Yeah,
It's
maybe
so good.
Could it be because it's dramatised? You don't want it to, like, to take away
From
what he actually done.
Yeah.
because I don't like watching kind of... You know when they do, like, not spin-offs of it, but you know...
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they make a
Like
series out
like,
of
like
it.
they done with
Yeah.
Dharma.
But, yeah, to be fair, I did like it, but at the same time I didn't because they romanticiised it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think...
Yeah, I think
Once he did, I don't think you should be romanticising stuff.
No.
It's the same with
If
the
I'm honest.
Raoul Moat one that they just recently released. That's very, like, makes you feel sorry for him and all that sort of shit. You're like, he was a piece of shit. What are you on about?
Yeah, but yeah, with like the Dharma one, because I remember like Courtney saying like, I kind of feel bad for him. I'm like, what do you mean you feel bad? He killed and ate people. Like, what do you mean? There's nothing to feel bad about. Like, yeah, he had a bit of a shit childhood or something. He's a bit fucked in the head, but it don't warrant
Justify
eating people.
No.
So yeah, I just didn't watch it because I don't really watch normal telly. But you know,
Yeah. What is it, right? Going back to the Des one, what is it with, like, childhood actors playing unreal serial killers? You've got David Tennant, who was obviously Doctor Who,
Oh, right.
and there he's Des. You had Zac Efron, who was High School Musical, and then he was bloody Ted Bundy.
True.
Which
he did a good job on that.
You got
Yeah, I have watched
Dharma,
that.
which was him from X-Men,
yeah,
and now Jeffrey Dahmer. Why are they so good at that?
American Horror Story.
yeah.
Evan Peters.
That's how
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember him.
Yeah, I'm like, he's an X-Men.
Yeah, he's
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
just always remember it's like the lobster in Freak Show.
Yeah.
He had lobster hands, didn't he?
that really freaked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that series.
Oh.
That season, sorry.
Yeah, I always found that like just see dirty.
That was
Do you know
the
what I mean? Like
circus
grimy.
one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't like the clown either. I was
Yep,
like,
nope.
no, this isn't a bit of me. I didn't like Hotel either. That first opening scene. No thanks. I can't even talk about
remember.
it. I'll let you go.
I have no idea what you're on about.
Oh, have you not watched it?
No.
Oh, it's
I'm not gonna know you've said clam.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, that's
No,
only
it's
Freak
like-
Show.
It's like she's been murdered while
Yeah.
she's on top of him.
Oh
But like
yeah.
he's actually stuck to her.
Yeah. I do
And
remember
honestly,
that,
I was like, nope.
Because I remember when me and Courtney was watching them, we went through all of them, got to the hotel, and we started watching it, and I thought, fucking hell, this is going to be a good season, because it started off like gory and that, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, it's going to be alright. I thought it was so boring.
Yeah.
I never finished watching it after that.
No, I was like, oh no.
I think the Coven series was
With
my
the
favourite.
witches. Yeah, that
was
is
my
a good
favourite,
one.
and Asylum. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
They
that
did a
is
little
good.
song.
Yeah. That is a good one. But yeah, so we are talking about Dennis Nilsen, and I have to say, Alicia is fucking
prepared.
I am prepared.
Jesus,
Would you guys
she-
like to see my notes? Like,
She's
prepared.
Jesus, wet.
so pretty much.
not
I'm just gonna sit here. Josh has got his nose. Alicia's got her nose. I'm just gonna sit here and just agree. Yeah, he was a bastard, wasn't he? Oh yeah. And as you can see, we've got a bit of a different camera angle, so we could actually
Have guests on
have
the
guests
actual
on here.
show.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I quite like this angle, you know.
Yeah, it ain't too bad. actually.
Might have to do something about it. It means we've got to fucking
Move all
move
that.
everything. We'll sort something out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Josh, Alicia, take it away.
All right. So, in February 1983, residents of 23 Cranley Gardens, which was a single house split into 6 flats, complained to their landlords about blocked drains. A plumber was brought in to unblock the drains, to which he found what he described as butchers' prepared meat with bones. They called their boss to ask what they should do, to which their boss told them to just leave it on the side and they'll come back and have a look at it the next day. The following day, when they arrived to check them, all the pieces had disappeared.
Right.
Which is kind of stupid. Why the fuck would you leave them?
What are you gonna do? Put it in your van?
Well, no, but you
don't know what it is and
You
it
deal
smells.
with it straight away.
Yeah. Well,
You
yeah.
wouldn't
know
leave
what
it
it
like
is, do
that.
you?
For all I mean, what if a bird come and took it?
Or fox.
Or a fox?
Oh right, yeah.
What do you think I meant?
For a minute, I just got a bit confused there. Like, I thought he meant it was still in the drain.
No.
he
They took it out the drain and just left it on the side.
Right. Well, yeah, true.
So they began to check all the pipe ends around the entire house. They looked in one of the disconnected pipes at the side of the house where they found more flesh. At this point, the plumbers decided to call the police. The police took the pieces to a pathologist who confirmed that it was in fact human remains. This piece of flesh was from a person's neck and it also had a ligature mark, meaning that the pathologist could tell that this person was strangled to death.
Right.
Which I've got to say, pathologists are mad. How they can just like look at a bit of
Crazy.
rotted flesh and just go, yeah, strangled to death. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Just forensics
how?
in general. Mate.
Yeah.
They're
If
unbelievable.
I could go back in time and go back to school and proper work my ass off, I'd love to be a forensic detective.
I thought he was going to be paleontologist.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if I could go back,
What?
if I could go back to like when I first started school
Yeah.
and work my ass off,
Yeah.
I'd be a forensic detective, 100%.
All right.
Yeah, but no, bruv, because I can't go back in time. We'll be.
We're hunters now, but you know, but
Oh, we
like,
could do both.
yeah, but we always said like if we could go back in time, we'd be paleontologists. Go around looking for dinosaurs. It is a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? Fuck you. You could be that. I'll be a zookeeper. Bollocks to you.
I ain't a fucking paleontologist either.
Well, no, but it's animals and that, isn't it? No, I want Jeremy Wade's job. That'd be my dream job.
The police returned to the house and realised that the pipe on the side of the house was used by the tenants of the top floor of the house. The landlord told the police that the top flat was owned by a 37-year-old Dennis Nilsen. The police waited outside his house for Nilsen to return from work. The police asked Nilsen if they could have a look around his flat. And as soon as they entered the flat, the police said the stench was unbearable and the atmosphere in that flat just felt pure evil. As soon as they entered the flat... Oh, no, I've just read that bit. Detective Peter J., who was the lead investigator in the whole case, told Nilsen that they were there because of human remains found in the drains. So that Nelson, I want to say. Nilsen replied, "Oh my God, how awful." The detective took a step forward to Nilsen and simply said, "Don't mess me about, where's the body?" And this is one of the weirdest bits about the whole serial killer, like this particular case.
Yeah.
Is just how calm, cold and open
Yeah.
Nilsen was about the whole thing.
That's just shows how pure evil that man is.
Exactly. So, obviously, the police asked, "Where's the rest of the body?" Nilsen just calmly went, "Okay, fair enough. There are 2 bags in the wardrobe in the other room." To which they searched the wardrobe and found the bags. They didn't even bother looking inside them because the smell was just horrific.
Right, this is what I always get confused about with these serial killers, especially like Nilsen and Dahmer and people like that. Why do they keep them?
I've got the background knowledge on
Yep.
this. Don't you
Yep.
worry, we'll get there.
But you know what I mean? I'm thinking, if you've killed someone, you want to get rid of
them.
the shot of it. Because for one, right, he's a person. Like, if he has a sense of smell, sure, and he's got to live with that. Like,
You say that, but then people always like, if you go around someone's house and it fucking stinks and you're like, "Mate, calm, this reeks." But you get
Nose
used to
blind.
smells, don't you? Yeah, nose blind.
oh yeah, true. But I just,
He needed to buy some Febreze. That's what he needed.
he just needs to stop killing people.
I mean, that, yeah. That would have helped.
Just get a new hobby, mate. Just grow some petunias. You know? Stop butchering people. Fucking hell.
Yeah, how you've gone from butchering people to fucking petunias.
Yeah,
of all the things.
That's first thing that come man. I don't know.
The day I come round here and you're watering petunias, I know there's something wrong.
Just know it could have gone down a dark path.
So the police arrested Dennis Nilsen on the spot. When they put Nilsen inside... I keep saying Nelson instead of Nielsen.
Nilsen.
When they put Nilsen inside the car, the other officer turned to him and asked, how many bodies are we talking? Is it 1 or 2? To which Nilsen calmly replied, 15 or 16. Which was that shocking that Peter J almost crashed the car upon hearing this. Just imagine that, just 15 or 16. No, what? So that's the rough premise of basically...
That was like the end of his killings.
Exactly. So, you said you've got some on the backstory, didn't you? If you want to, feel free.
Okay. So he was born in 1945, obviously. And then, but his parents, his dad was in the Norwegian army.
Right.
So basically, he'd come back, see his wife, go again. And every time they saw each other, she got pregnant. So they ended up with 3 kids. I think he was the eldest.
Yeah.
And then when they were 2, they parted ways. So he was just... And then... so he was brought up by his maternal grandparents.
Right, okay.
He was really close with his granddad. And then they used to do loads of stuff together. And then in 1952, his granddad then died of a sudden heart attack while he was out fishing.
Oh, fuck.
And that was like their little thing to do together.
Right.
I don't think he was there when it happened.
No.
Yeah, and apparently this affected him massively to the point, like, and he saw his granddad in the coffin.
Yeah.
And after that, they said he became really withdrawn. Like, he didn't want to be part of society. Like, he just kind of wanted to be like a
Backseat.
bystander.
Yeah.
And apparently, after he saw his granddad, he started suffering from dreams of Dracula. And apparently, what psychologists think is him interpreting as he was hoping his granddad was going to come back.
Right. Yeah.
But he got like this fear about it, apparently from a few sources I read, but don't know how true it was.
Did you see about the fucked up bit about when he first found out his granddad was dead? His mum never actually told him. He come home from school. She was sitting in the room crying. He asked like, "Oh, what's going on?" And she went, "Do you want to see your granddad?" And him thinking, obviously, because he loves his granddad and everything, he's like, "Yeah." It's like he's in the kitchen. Walks in and it's an open coffin.
No.
That's how he found out his granddad was dead. Instead of sitting him down, instead of sitting him down and being like, "Listen, little Dan, I'm sorry, granddad's dead." He's in the kitchen, he's buzzing, thinking, "Oh yeah, granddad, how was your fish?" Oh my fucking god! Do you know what I mean? Like, how traumatic is that for a little kid?
Granddad, why is your bed in the kitchen?
Why are you in a box, granddad? That can't be comfy.
Yeah. No, I've never really agreed with like open casket.
No, it's
personally.
weird.
You know what I mean? Like, because
I mean, don't get me wrong. If people do that sort of thing, fair enough. It's just,
if that's your vibe.
It's just, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
No, because they look like they're sleeping. I'm not, obviously, but you know what I mean. You just think, oh, they're gonna wake up soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, nah, they're either getting buried or burned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like, fucking hell. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And it always makes me think of Scary Movie 3. We're at the wake. She's awake!
Wake up!
He sees Scary Movie 3.
I have, but I can't remember.
Oh,
no,
as soon as you said about the wake bit, I'm like, I do like, you know when it's like, it's there.
Yeah. It's when he electrocutes him and makes his dreadlocks go
all up.
Yeah, no, I do know what you're
It just blows up. Oh. I remember when I first saw that, I cried. I cried at that.
I love them films.
Oh,
honestly.
So good. They're goated.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we used to get them through the post on them little CDs.
Yeah.
My older sister used to get them, so then that would be like our Friday night.
Or they go to Blockbuster or something like that. Oh.
We didn't do that.
Nah, I remember we sometimes, when my mum was well enough to drive, we'd go to Blockbuster, we'd get a film, we'd get a Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Because they always had
bougie ice cream.
Oh yeah, we was going all that, you know. Here's an extra $5. Go on. Yeah, go get it, watch it, eat your Haagen-Dazs, and then go back.
Bring back Blockbusters, man.
We don't need it though.
I know, but it was so goated, wasn't it?
It was like the... What's the word? The euphoria of going there, I think, of anything. But
it was so goated.
Oh, it was good.
How have we gone from Dennis Nilsen to fucking Blockbuster? I love the tangent so much. Yeah. How has this happened?
Every time.
Every time. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so then... But yeah, apparently, so this affected him really badly, especially when it came to affection. As much as he really wanted that affection from his family, and like his mum would be giving it to his siblings, as much as he wanted it, he wouldn't interact, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah,
He wouldn't then get involved, so he'd never get that affection. And then when he was 10 years old, he had a near-death experience, which I think this is quite interesting to then how it goes on. So he almost drowned when he was at the beach. And apparently, how he explains it is once he'd calmed down, while he was drowning, after he'd calmed, he said it was like the tranquility.
Yeah, tranquility.
Of it, and he felt like his granddad was going to save him and pull him out.
Right.
But yet another boy pulled him out.
Right.
But I think that's kind of like a milestone because that then leads on to the murders.
Yeah, because he was like so okay with death.
It's like his fascination of death. That's where it went.
And the drowning, I think he thought he was giving them a peaceful death, but
yeah, because they always say that drowning's one of the best ways to die.
Once you get past the struggle phase, it's just like falling asleep.
The inevitable. Yeah, apparently it is quite peaceful to die.
Is it? It's one of my worst fears.
Yeah.
Honestly, drive past the river, I'm like, I'm ready with the seatbelt and the window.
Courtney's the same. I'm a cunt, really, because sometimes, the Kingsland Bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Drive over that sometimes and I say, what would you do if the bridge just breaks? And she's like, why would you say that?
True thoughts.
Yeah, she was like, I'm fucked then, didn't I? I was like, oh yeah, true, yeah, fair.
Drowning after overburning any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Any day of the fucking week.
But again, don't they say, I know it's like excruciating pain for like 30 seconds till your nerve endings just
like
burns. But then after that, it's just, well,
bit warm.
I wouldn't say it's peaceful, but you know what I mean? I think once you get over that pain, but with drowning, I don't think you get a lot of that.
Nah.
Well,
neither, thanks.
Yeah.
Pass.
Right.
Shark attack, mate.
One thing as well, like you said about that boy obviously pulling Nilsen out. Imagine later on in life when obviously it became major, like, worldwide news.
Yeah.
Hearing the name Dennis Nilsen.
Yeah, thinking, you think,
that's the fucking boy that I saved. It's like, if I didn't do that,
none of this would have happened.
None of this would have happened.
But at the same time, you can't think like that.
No, of course
because
not.
at the time, you
weren't to know, a few years down the line, this guy's going to...
And if you let him drown, you've got that conscience on you all the time, like, I've just let a little
boy die.
At the time, an innocent boy die.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But fucking... That is weird, though.
Yeah, that would
just
be
thinking back, like, Jesus Christ. Because I bet he's still guilt-ridden with that. Because I bet that probably, like, come through his mind. It was like, if I didn't stop it, he wouldn't have done this. Do you know what I mean? Or something along them lines.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. But you can say that about most of them, though. Once the names come out. Like, people like with Ed Kemper always said he was a bit weird or something. Well, like with Dharma.
Yeah.
They always said he was strange and everything. There was something not quite right with him, but they never said anything.
You're never going to, until it's too late, you're never going to know.
Yeah, like
unless you catch them in the fucking act.
We know people who are a bit strange and that, but you never thought they'd be serial killers. You know what I mean?
Would you?
Nah. Because if you start thinking like that,
everyone's a serial killer.
You're like, it turns out you're the serial killer. So it's like, fucking hell, it's Inception here. Shutter Island. What the
fuck? But yeah, and then his mum then remarries, and they move in. So the guy that she remarries, he's a labourer, I believe, and he's quite strict. So they move into this flat, and them two together then end up having 4 kids. So they're in this flat. There's 7 of them, 7 kids plus them 2.
9 people.
And apparently he didn't like his stepdad, but he respected him because the discipline and the boundaries that he was putting in place. But obviously, with so many people being in there, he gets to withdraw more.
Yeah.
So then there's no attention on him, kind of thing. But yeah, so then when they then move again, I don't know why I wrote that down. But yeah, and as he becomes a teenager, he realises he's gay. And then, but at the time, that's illegal.
It's so taboo.
You couldn't tell, like, anyone. And do you know what he does? Do you want to guess?
Is it something to do with dead animals or something?
No. He starts fondling his siblings while they're asleep.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, actually tried to like question himself because he said the boys that he found attracted looked a lot like his little sister.
What?
So he didn't know whether it was just him just saying how much he loves his sister. Do you know what I mean? That's why he's finding them attractive, because they look like him. Which is mad Game of Thrones-esque.
Yeah, I was going
It's
to say,
like-
like,
That was Game of Thrones vibe, isn't it?
I don't know about this
you
one,
say
Chief.
he found boys attracted that look like his
His
sister.
sister.
Yeah.
So either she was really butch, or they're very feminine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course he goes do something like that.
Yeah.
And then, but his brother then clocks onto him doing this. I don't know which brother, I don't know. But, and ends up, starts calling him a hen. Like, and he'll do it in public, which is Scottish slang for basically a girl.
Yeah.
Like saying he's feminine.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. So then at the age of 14, he joins the army cadets and basically just goes off travelling. He's with them for the next, 9 years?
Yeah.
Like that?
He calls him hen because he's a bit feminine. Doesn't want to say, like, noncy inbred. You know, we got to be more inclined.
But yeah, and then, so obviously while he's in the army, doesn't tell anybody that he's gay or anything like that. But yeah, obviously goes travelling, and what he ends up doing, because he's so scared that people will find out he's gay, he like secludes himself. He like showers on his own because he's too scared that basically he'll get a hard on in front of all these men and stuff like that. So yeah, and then he starts drinking, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he went into catering, didn't he, while he's in there? And that's where he learnt his butcherry skills. I don't know if I've completely demolished that word. I don't know how to say
Culinary
it.
skills? No, that's like just cooking, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think you were.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So,
whilst he was in the army, he also did some mad shit.
Really?
Because this is where he started to get like his obsession or like his passion for photography.
Right.
And in a fucked up way, he actually, because the other like cadets and that always used to bully him, but behind his back, so to speak, like slag him off and all that. But they willingly, he used to have him like lay down on the floor. Because the one thing with him, he very much liked to be in control of everything he'd done.
Right.
And one of the best ways you can be in control of something is a picture. Because you think if you get somebody to do what you want in a picture, take the picture, you've got that for life, regardless of what they do.
Yeah.
So he used to make them lie down on the floor, act dead, basically like they've been shot, and take a picture of them. So they were calling him weird behind his back, but then they were willingly doing this.
Yeah.
You're like, eh?
Yeah,
Make it make sense.
How does that work?
People are fucked up.
Yeah.
I just can't get over he used to wank off his little brothers. Like, that's just a bit mad.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's
What
nothing.
do you mean that's nothing?
That's nothing, brother. That's nothing.
Gets worse every fucking minute. It's like an episode of Tiger King.
Yeah.
It gets madder and madder.
This is what I mean. Nilsen is just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I know all the serial killers we've covered are mad. But these geezers on another level.
Yeah. Cream of the crop
Yeah, pretty much.
of it.
But yeah, so he starts drinking because he's like so shy. He starts drinking to kind of interact in that.
Yeah.
But then he starts drinking excessively, and he starts basically drinking to the point. Him and one of his colleagues, and he'd get blackout drunk, wake up in the morning, and basically realise, oh, anything could happen to me, which then creates this fantasy of this like a young slim man that's passive or something. I don't really understand what that meant. But a passive unconscious partner, and that he fixates on that.
Oh, I think what it means, like, passive is like...
Basically, you do what you want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep, sweet.
Yeah, so this is when he then realises, oh well, I could drink to the point where somebody will do something to me, and then it's not my fault because I'm not gay. So he's, in a way, hoping that's going to happen, which then becomes this fantasy.
So he hopes to get raped.
Basically,
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, mate.
Basically,
Which, again,
yeah.
is weird when you think he's someone who's so in love with the idea of control. That's like the worst thing.
Yeah.
That is the least time you're ever going to have control of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fucked.
Strange man. Very strange man. So, yeah. And then... Yeah, and then in 1967 he gets deployed to Aden, now Yemen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really sure what that is, but and he's basically deployed in like a prison, and while he's out there, he gets captured. He has another near-death experience, and he gets captured by an Arab, a taxi driver. They put him in the boot. This taxi driver's clearly not very smart because he's tried to kidnap him, but he's got a fucking jack handle or something in the boot. So he obviously gets this, fucking opens the trunk, dink. So that was a complete fail. But apparently this kind of fed more into the fantasy.
Right.
Because this person was unconscious. Although he's never admitted to doing anything to this person. But I think he was only like 18, 19
something
at
like
the
that.
time when it happened. And then when he was 21, that's when he finally has an interaction with another person. This person is a 12-year-old rent boy. Apparently, this 12-year-old had been basically round the officers, and he was desperate for somebody to get him out and take him to the UK.
Right.
And that's why he did it. But this kind of set off, I think it leads to the murders, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's set
sets
off the train
this-
of emotions, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, especially like, it's 12. It's a child. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
It's just disgusting.
it's just, and he like when like he gets the murders and that, he's obsessed with them looking like he used to shave all their body and stuff
Yeah.
like that because he wants them to look childlike. And I think it comes back to that. I think it's that,
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
flip the switch in
Interaction
his
is
mind
just-
or
yeah.
something.
and
Yeah.
that's now.
So you say, because at the time, he must think in his own head that he's like a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Like, thinking he's saving this red boy, even though he's probably done fucking horrible.
Oh, I think
It's
the kid
big
gets left
difference.
there anyway. He don't even get to go to the UK.
No.
Bless his heart. Poor child.
Talk about used and abused.
Yeah, literally.
Fucking hell. I wonder what he's doing with his life nowadays. If you watch
I was about to say, if you're watching this, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think from that, his fantasies then increase, and he gets a fixation on mirrors.
Right.
Yeah, which is really interesting when it comes to the last murder. But this makes me feel really uncomfortable saying it. But like, so what he would do to pleasure himself, to put it nicely, he would put loads of mirrors around himself and put himself in certain positions.
Yeah.
And get pleasure from it.
Have a good old Tommy.
Like, very strange.
I think everything you told me so far is like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
So as you can see, he's a very,
Tap boy.
not great.
Peculiar,
Not
to
doing
say
very
the
well.
least.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then following on from this, which I think this is also, it leads into the murders, he gets obsessed with this oil painting called the Raft of Medusa. Have you heard about this?
No.
It's basically an oil painting which shows an old man holding a young youth. I haven't seen the actual picture. I don't know what it actually looks like.
You look it up.
And he's getting it.
Yeah.
And
I will if I
he
find it, so I can
basically
word.
applies this to his fantasy, and he twists it to it being a soldier. So this old man, this old grey-haired man, is carrying this soldier to then bathe them
Right.
and then necrophilia acts or whatever you want to say.
Perform
Yeah.
dirty acts.
So
The Raft of
yeah.
Medusa.
So you can see he's holding the baby up there, isn't he?
Oh, right.
I don't really understand how he interprets that in that way.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Alright, it's not going to focus, but yeah, it's there.
But yeah, and then basically he then recreates that down the line.
Oh.
He's not a well boy.
No.
Put it lightly,
It was
he's
there
not a
from the
well
start.
boy.
Yeah.
I think from the age of 14, since I
Since
don't
his
know.
granddad died.
Yeah, it's just been
since his granddad
But I
died,
think
really.
it was even before that. Because he's not getting the attention he wants from his family.
Yeah.
No,
And
maybe.
the only person that's giving him the attention
His died.
is died. I think it's just
He-
concoction of just
yeah.
mindfuck.
Yeah, he never
Not
got
justifying anything at all what he's done.
No, no, I know what you're saying now. It's
But
always
it's like,
a
yeah.
knock-on effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but no, fucking... Well, I always heard about, like... I've heard of Dennis Nilsen and the murders he's done and everything. And how he was caught and everything. But, like, I didn't know fucking this much.
No.
Yeah.
Jesus
You think we've
Christ.
not even got onto the murders yet?
No,
This is
no.
what I mean.
That's what fucking Jesus.
But yeah. And
What
then,
madness.
it's crazy, man. But yeah, and then he ends up getting deployed to West Berlin, and that's when he then has a relationship with a woman,
Right.
a prostitute. So it's not really a relationship,
No.
but either way.
Might got 3 piece.
And apparently he described it as overrated, doesn't understand why anyone would be interested. Obviously, because he's gay.
Yeah.
So he's just not attracted to women.
Fair enough.
So yeah, and then after that, basically, he'd done his 11 years. He left as a corporal, did a few jobs around Scotland when he went home, and then ended up having a big bust-up with his brother, the same brother that used to call him Hen, over gay rights, because by this point it's obviously been legalised in the UK now.
Right, okay.
So he's trying to defend, and with that, his brother turns around to his mum and tells him that Nilsen's gay, and with that he never talks to his family again. He leaves, moves to London,
Yeah.
goes in training for a police officer.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about this. Why he
And
got kicked out, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dirty boy.
and then
Get on to that.
yeah, basically, yeah, that's where I'm up to now. He wants to join the police.
Yeah. But all this shit was happening, and he comes back and thinks, you know, I'm going to be a copper. I'm gonna, you know.
It just don't make sense.
But again, was that a control thing?
Maybe, yeah.
If he's got subject obsession with control, you can arrest people.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
true. You can,
No
yeah.
one's going to question you, are they?
Exactly.
As well, because no one's going to think a police officer's going to do the stuff
Fucked
that he
up
done.
shit, yeah.
Well, no, that's what. Even like recent times, like what shit's happened.
That lady
with-
in London, wasn't
Yeah,
it? That's a police officer.
you never thought like a copper is out there to hurt. They're meant to serve and protect.
Exactly.
You know, and they're doing shit like this. It's like I say, it's still happening today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never I mean, my cousin's a copper, so I'd never really badmouth the police. Because that'd be awkward. But well, no, because you know what I mean. Like, it's a few bad wrong uns where most of them are good people.
Yeah.
You know, they are there to help people, but it just shows you can't fully trust.
No, you can't 100% trust anyone.
No. All right, mate.
Come on, you boy. Don't you dare be getting no petunias.
I don't even know what fucking petunias look like, mate.
They're flowers.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know what they are.
Mate, you should have seen me last weekend. I went with my nan and my dad to the fucking garden centre because my nan wanted some more plants, and I'm walking around thinking, oh, I got a fucking clue. She's going, yeah, I want some of these and some of these are these, and I'm like, they look the same.
They all do the same thing, don't they?
Yeah.
They grow.
They grow and die,
Yeah.
and then they grow again. Fucking ridiculous. I was like, they look the same to me, just different colours. Do you want some red ones or pink ones? And she's like, no, I want these hydrangeas or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're
right,
like, oh yeah, because I know what they are.
yeah.
My nan's the same. Every time, you pull up at hers, have you noticed my flowers? They're red and blue for the coronation. I'm like, oh, nice, Nan. I was like, oh, I don't really know.
Oh, it's such like
Bless
a dying thing now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, bless. Right, who's going next? Go on, boys.
Have you got any? Because you seem to have a lot more on his backstory than I do. A lot more.
Oopsie.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
So yeah, he moves down to London, starts his training in 1973. He completed his training, sorry. But during this training, he becomes obsessed with visiting the morgue
Yeah,
and watching postmortems and stuff like that. I haven't really got much more information on that. Autopsied bodies, that was it.
Yeah.
Right.
He became a bit fixated on them.
Seemed
Don't
to-
know if anything happened from that. I'm not sure. Have you got any?
Yeah, well, apparently, this was rumoured. It's not been 100% proven or not, because he's denied it, which he fucking would.
Yeah, but then again.
Yeah, exactly.
He
But
seems so
apparently, the
He's
reason
so open.
Yeah.
the reason he left the police force was because he was caught wanking in the morgue. So there was like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna work, mate. Hand in your notice. So that's apparently the reason he left. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Nah. The thing is, like the way he has been, like he was so open about everything. For him then to deny
That
which, in the grand scheme of things, is so minor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's barbaric, don't get me wrong, but compared to what he has done, it's so minor. If he denies it, I kind of believe him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
One thing I also got to mention about his backstory that I completely forgot. He was actually sexually assaulted by a boy.
oh,
when
was
he
Was
was,
he?
when he was, I think, 13 or something like that, he was sexually assaulted by an older boy, and he later on described it as not unpleasant. So basically, yeah, he's gay.
He enjoyed it.
He enjoyed
He
it.
liked it,
He
yeah.
liked it.
That's weird. But
we
yeah.
should just play football.
I used to just play horses. That was good. I was just obsessed with my horses, and that was it. But yeah, no. And then apparently, well, the police did notice he was very much a loner. Like, he didn't get involved, stayed in the background. So he starts drinking again.
Right.
Starts going to gay bars and stuff like that, because obviously they're
Yes.
No,
Especially in
London,
London at that time, that was when it was
Yeah.
proper
boom.
boom.
and apparently he was having flings and stuff like that, but they just never satisfied him.
No.
He just said it just wasn't.
What he wanted.
No.
So then, in 1973, so the same year, he had his first run-in with the law. I'm not sure if by this point he'd left, or he was in there a year, so he must have still been in the police, sorry. And a young man stays around. I don't know who this young man is, there's not much info on it. And this young man stays at his flat and wakes up to find him taking photos of him. Nilsen taking photos of him.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Usually you'd
It's-
like him to be awake.
Jesus Christ! Jesus!
Well, what I mean is, like, you want all parties agreeing to it. Do you know what I mean?
Could have worded that a bit better.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I want you awake while I take pics of you.
And apparently this young man actually did go to the police about it.
Right.
But because he was in the police force, and the police just didn't take it seriously.
No.
Yeah,
because they
brush
just
it under
thought,
the
it was
carpet.
yeah, it just wasn't anything of importance. Which, now you look back, you think, if they'd taken that seriously,
That's common
then
with
men probably still
a lot
alive.
of police, wasn't it, around that time?
Oh,
with
yeah. Anything gay, they'd...
oh, what was it? Even with Peter Sutcliffe. With the look at the way they handled the crime scene and
Oh,
everything. Just
my God.
police in that time, if it weren't 100%, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is mad. They couldn't give a shit, really.
No.
It weren't half as by the rule book as it is nowadays, so
Yeah.
to speak.
I think because now they are on such high regard.
Yeah. And I think as well, back then you wouldn't have had the eyes of the world on you like you have now.
Yeah.
No,
like
yeah,
social
yeah.
media and that.
It'd just
Yeah.
be the
Look-
local news.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
exactly.
And that's-
So you can get away with that sort of shit.
Yeah. Just neighbourhood watch talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and then he then leaves the police after a year, or gets sacked.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? And becomes a civil servant working in a job centre. And he has that for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Again, class as a loner, didn't really get involved. Works his way up to executive officer.
Right.
Don't know if that's quite high up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but-
By
big-
sounds
big
of it.
dog.
Yeah. He done, but then, and from there, the murders then start.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh, I'll let you go.
Well, around the same time is actually when his fascination with death grew big time as well.
Yeah.
To the point he actually used to put pale makeup on his face and would make his lips like blue and his eyes bloodshot and then take pictures in front of a mirror. Or,
To make him look dead.
yeah, even just stand, he'd sometimes just stand there for hours on end, just emotionless, to pretend he was dead, just to get some sort of satisfaction. So, yeah, he a bit weird.
A bit.
Yeah.
That's the understatement of the fucking year, isn't it? He was a bit weird. He just like dressed up as dead people. Mate, he must have loved Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
He got
Every
public
skeleton,
life,
he's just like, oh.
God. He got the thrills and them nights, I bet. Jesus Christ. But then again, he'd have been shit scared at the same time because he was scared of Dracula.
True.
Just,
Which baffles me. Like, you said he had a fear of Dracula, but then he had an obsession
So
with
with
death.
death, yeah.
Like, that goes hand in hand, surely?
Yeah, in a roundabout sort of way, yeah.
Just one sucks your blood.
One's bones, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. One's rigor mortis. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't get that. Like when you said about like being scared of Dracula, like.
And then what he actually turns out to be.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
as bad, like a real life bastard.
Bastard.
That's just mental.
Mad.
Yeah.
Well, in November 1975, he was at a gay club where he saw a small lad called David Galashan being threatened by two larger men, to which Nilsen stepped in and helped. Nilsen learned that David was jobless, homeless, and moving in between hostels. Later on, Nilsen asked David to move in with him, to which he agreed. The pair found a larger flat and moved in together, and even got a dog, which he had all the way till he was arrested.
Oh, so he didn't hurt the dog.
Honestly.
No, yeah, he never harmed the dog. In
thank
fact,
God.
even in the TV show, he's mad passionate about this
Yeah.
dog. Like, he was all calm and, like,
Bleep.
Bleep.
It's dog's name, wasn't it?
yeah,
What was it?
Border Collie.
Oh,
He,
thank you.
even in the TV show, he's all, like, all calm and everything and cooperative, but then he's in a cell room and he can hear the dog whimpering, and when they open the door, he just loses his shit. He's like, it's been 2 days here, you don't need to keep her any longer, she's got nothing to fucking do with it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
very protective of the dog. So at least he had some morals, he didn't harm animals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a lovely
But
bloke
it's
then.
that
Yeah, exactly.
It's that aspect of control again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dog
yeah.
You
can
own a dog.
control. A dog is very loyal, aren't they? So
Yeah,
Exactly.
True. True.
Well, a year later, the pair began to start arguing a lot, with David eventually leaving, which seriously affected Nilsen. Yeah, so back to his arrest before, like, the murders and that, because it was weird, this one, because obviously no one knew about the murders until he was arrested.
Right, yeah.
No one had an inkling that there was a serial killer about. Nothing.
Well, that's kind of like Dahmer.
Yeah, very similar,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's British Dahmer, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Did he eat him?
He never confirmed that he
No.
did. He always says he didn't, but
You
if
never
you're
know.
doing that to bodies,
Yeah.
And some of the other fucked up shit.
You'd get tempted, wouldn't you?
Not really, no.
I don't think so.
I've
I
never
think
looked
that's
at
really
a dead
my
body and
kind
gone,
of taste.
I'm just saying.
You'd
If-
definitely
if-
try it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, fucking 100%.
don't get it wrong, I'll try it.
Yeah, if
Would
someone's
you?
frying
Yeah,
a
someone-
human
yeah.
leg, I'm like, gizzy yam.
I'll try it, but I wouldn't look at a full body and go,
Yummy.
Thing is, I remember saying this to someone, like, would you try human? They're like, yeah, but what about if you knew who they were? I was like, well, they're dead now.
yeah, it don't matter, it's not going to hurt them, is it?
Nah. Oh, what about if it was like, I don't know, like some...
If it's Courtney,
Well, it was a bit different. She's my wife, innit? You know?
you know her.
Yeah,
And she's
yeah,
dead.
I don't think I could eat my wife. Because if there is something in spirit, she's not going to let me forget about it. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, what, do you think Scott would be okay if he ate his leg?
No, I wouldn't eat his leg. I wouldn't eat anyone.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, you did say that, yeah. All right, Marcus. You know him. He's dead.
Yeah, so
You'd eat him.
I'll try it.
Jesus Christ.
I'll try it, yeah. Why not?
Right, yeah, you're further than me, mate. If you start growing petunias.
Big up the petunias, man. Big up the petunias. I'm going to have to Google what a fucking petunia looks like after this.
I think it's like
I'm
a
going to
white...
do when I leave.
I
What
think,
is it?
I think it's like a white flower. I think so.
I'll get you it for your birthday. There you go.
Nah!
Then if he keeps it.
I probably wouldn't.
No! Well, whilst he was being arrested, other police officers were beginning to search his flat. In the bin bags that were found in the wardrobes, they found 2 halves of a torso and chunks of chest tissue. When the remains was taken to the pathologist, they realised how expertly precise Nilsen had removed them in the first place. When the police told Nilsen that they were searching his flat, Nilsen told them, "Have you searched the rest of the flat yet?" Nilsen told them that there was 2 other bodies in that flat as well. At least 2 other bodies, sorry. He told them that in the drawer in the bathroom was the lower half of a man's body, and in the tea chest in the living room there was another torso of 2 partially dissected legs, a skull, and several other bones. So altogether, these were the remains of 3 different men.
Right.
The first was had been dead for over a year. The second one for about 9 months, and the third had only been a week old.
Right, okay.
He also told the police that there were the remains of 12 or 13 other people dating back to 1978. He also said that he didn't remember the names as he had not long met them before he killed them. Excuse me. The police asked him how he killed them all, and he's like, I strangled them. He told the police that the reason he kept the bodies was due to the fact that his old house, he was on the ground floor, so he could bury them underneath the floorboards and then eventually dissect them and burn them. But because he was on the top floor of his current flat, he had to dissect them and flush them down the drain over time, so obviously it won't clog up.
You gone fuck that up.
You didn't think that one through, did you, Chief?
Gee.
The following day, the plumber who discovered the remains decided to go to the media and sell his story, which quickly became a nationwide news, despite the police trying to keep everything quiet for the time being.
Yeah.
So that pissed them off royally.
What gets me, right, is because I work with drains a lot because of being a ground worker, but like, it's just weird to think that someone's been going through a 4-inch, like it's 100 mils, so what's that about, like that? That people have been fitting through that, like body parts.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh no, you wouldn't even get my big toe.
From the way he used to actually,
That's concerning.
Because he used to like dissect them, he even used to like boil them.
Yeah, because didn't they
like
boil
the head? To just try and like
he boiled somebody's skull basically once they had already started decomposing to.
Just basically
something the
flush it
brain
off,
matter.
basically, yeah.
So that he just had the skull to
deal with.
Yeah, because I think, because that's called blanching, I think.
Never heard of it.
I like skulls. I don't mean I'm going to kill anyone with their skull, you know.
Just make that clear.
Yeah. You start seeing skulls out, you know, I ain't killed anyone. But, yeah, I think they call it blanching, it's to preserve them.
Right.
Like to preserve them, yeah. But no, that's weird.
This is when Dennis Nilsen actually became obsessed with reading his case in the papers, which pissed Nilsen off when he would read about the slightest mistake that the papers had got wrong. Like for the fact they was printing that he killed 17 people. He was fucking furious. He was like, no, it was 15. It weren't 17, it was 15.
It's that control aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He also told the police that he never actually set out to kill anyone.
Liar.
I was going to say, out of the second...
You think, I might have a problem here.
Yeah, I think I need to sort something out here. Like, I'm not doing very well.
He then went into full detail about each victim and how we killed them. Which is, if you've got it written down, you want to continue?
Yeah. Here we go.
This is fucking...
Here we go. Oh, love it. Let me find where I am next.
I think it's going to be a different host
Right.
next season.
Any true crime stuff, mate? I'm in. So, in 1975, that's when young men start disappearing around London area. In this time, Nilsen had been having flings, casual relationships, obviously not doing it for him. So, yeah, in December 78, he meets a 14-year-old Stephen Dennerholmes. Meets him in a pub. At this point, Nilsen, is 33 years old.
Right.
This kid is 14.
For fuck's sake.
So this kid apparently had been to a concert or something like this. Was in the pub. Obviously, Nilsen's a civil worker, so he's quite good at chatting to people.
Yeah.
Gets talking to him, buys some drinks, stuff like that. Invites him back to the flat. And they start drinking excessively, heavily. And then, so the next morning, basically, Nilsen wakes up with this dread that this kid's going to leave, and he can't cope with this kid leaving. So he decides to get a necktie and strangle him until he's unconscious. And then he drowns him in the bath. Which is where I think this drowning...
Yeah. Coincides.
Because he's thinking, I'm giving him a peaceful death. Because his...
Yeah.
Especially if he's unconscious, he's not going to feel it. Do you know? There's not going to be a struggle phase.
Same as Dharma, though, because he used to give him sleeping tablets and then strangle them, so they didn't feel it.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been tempted to chuck a toaster in a bath a couple of times, but not like drown someone in it. You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell.
Morals.
Thing is, when you hear about serial killers and everything, like I think it's it might be a bit sadistic of me, but I think of like horror films and everything. Like you want them like gruesome.
Yeah.
When it's like strangling, it's
like,
almost like a. That's not fun.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Like I want to hear like some slashing and gashing. You know what I mean? Like Jason Voorhees or something like that. Like, no, he strangled him. Wow, you're a fucking letdown. You're no good serial killer to me.
So yeah, after he strangles Stephen, he then bathes him. He lays with him. Apparently, he doesn't do anything to him. He doesn't sleep with them, basically. Right. But he sexually assaults them. I don't know. I didn't go into detail with that. I didn't dig into that any further because I was like, I don't want to know. So I left it at that.
To be honest, Alicia, I agree with you. Yeah. I wouldn't even. Because that would scare you for fucking life. You know what I mean? But how can he? Like, if he's dead, what's he just...
Yeah.
It's not doing it. He's like finger his asshole or something. I don't know.
Just laying on his bed, just...
What, he's just saying wet willies. You can't feel it, you're dead. Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We're making a mockery out of it. As you were, Alicia.
God, I shouldn't be laughing. It's awful, isn't it?
It is
But,
really, yeah.
Stop, right. So, yeah, basically. And he then puts him in his bed and just has him laying there, sleeping next to him. He watches telly with him. And as the body starts to decompose, he chucks him under the floorboards.
You know you could buy blow-up dolls.
Not the same for him, apparently.
No.
Don't do it.
But watching telly with it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's that aspect
Or a mannequin.
of company and loneliness, I think.
Yeah.
He thinks it's like, I'm assuming in his head, it's that fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That passive.
But surely, like,
subconscious.
rigor mortis and that sets in. How can he make them watch telly?
That's-
He bend them up and that.
So-
Can't remember Lewis said, because apparently rigor mortis, it sets in, lets off, and then sets in again. And it takes longer to set in the second time.
Right.
So once you get after the first stage, you can, well, do what you want with
flop them back.
Yeah.
No. That weren't the best choice of words there. I do apologise.
But yeah, he puts him under the floorboards for the next 8 months. And then basically when he's... Is it putrefying? Is that the word?
Yeah.
When it gets too much, he takes him out into the garden and just burns him. Because the landlady from this flat only gave him and that original guy moved in with exclusive access to the garden. Nobody else had access to it apart from him. So this is where... And basically that becomes the cycle. Yeah. I did write down every single one.
Yeah.
But before then, like, you say the putrefy, like, so, let's be honest, when people start to decompose, they liquefy, don't they? You imagine being downstairs and, like... You think the bathroom's leaking, but it's actually a dead body.
Mate.
Not luckily, that's not the right word to use. He had the ground floor flat.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. His original flat, the ground floor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why in the flat where he was found,
he
put it flushing it down the drain because obviously he was on the top floor.
He had nowhere to burn.
He had nowhere to put it.
Right, that all makes sense. I thought it was all in that flat.
No,
sorry.
Right, okay. No, it's all right. It's all right.
But basically, what he would do is he'd get them back to his flat, get them drunk, strangle, drown, and he would just repeat that process. Although he did, this was another thing I thought was interesting actually, rewind. So with some of the bodies, he would bathe them, shave off all their hair, not interesting, that's not the right word. Weird.
Intriguing.
So as the bodies would start to decompose, or if basically all the bruising comes up on the neck, he'd just cover it all up in makeup.
Yeah.
To try and make them look human. Well, not dead, sorry. They already do look human.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, alive.
Yeah. But basically, that's what he would then do, put them under the floorboards, and what he then started to do was start decapitating them and cutting them up, which obviously where these butchery skills then come in.
Yeah.
That's why the pathologist said it was so precise.
Yeah.
Because he knew what he was doing, basically.
He knew how to handle his meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he would... Oh, this makes me feel a bit funny, to be fair. He would disembowel them on his kitchen floor.
Could be worse places to do it.
Yeah.
Could be on the carpet.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least it wasn't on the carpet.
It's not staying on the carpets.
No.
Just, how did, from your granddad dying to getting sexually assaulted to then disemboweling someone on the kitchen floor?
This is the thing, no one truly knows.
That's what.
I don't even think really deep down he knew.
No, but that's what intrigues me with like serial killers. Like, as much as they might have had a horrible childhood or something like that, something just switches
In their mind to lead to this.
to them being able to do that with no remorse.
And 9 times out of
And
10...
I think... Go on, sorry.
Sorry. 9 times out of 10, like you said, it is a traumatic experience that brings it on.
Yeah.
But what part of your brain
What in... Yeah.
flips? Because, I mean, what is it they say, like, the frontal lobe's the personality bit? Is there something in there? Does that just, like, die out or something? Like...
Fucked if I know. Mine does a good job just going.
Yeah.
So I always think, like, going back to Jeffrey Dahmer, you know how they destroyed his brain afterwards? Because biologists did want to, like,
to look into
at
it.
his brain and stuff, and the judge ruled it out and, like, destroyed it.
Yeah.
But I just think, imagine if they had, what would they have found?
They could have found
Like,
anything.
Yeah, and that could have
They
helped
could
a
have
lot
explained,
of people.
yeah, so
I mean,
much.
I've said it countless times, but look at all the people that have, like, head injuries and that, like, athletes and all
Yeah.
that,
That's what happened to Jeffrey
CTE.
Dahmer,
Yeah,
didn't it?
Yeah.
CTE and that, and it just fucking changes them.
Yeah,
It's like, but what specific part of
Something-
the brain
yeah. So that
Flips,
that
yeah.
wrestler, was it
Chris Benoit? Exactly.
Yeah.
He had the brain age of an 8-year-old man with early onset dementia,
Yeah, and
it caused
Did
it led
Did
to
he
him
murder his
wife and kid.
Yeah.
had that many concussions over his career.
yeah.
Found out he had the brain of a 8-year-old man with early onset dementia. Killed his wife, killed his kid, and killed himself.
Yeah, that's mad. But weren't it something to do with Eddie Guerrero, like with him
I
dying?
think Eddie Guerrero was like his best mate, and when he died,
it kind of like
it mangled
Set it
him.
off.
Yeah.
got him in momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it a case of like with that sort of example? Was it a case of his brain was damaged and it just needed that switch?
Maybe, yeah.
And Eddie Guerrero dying, was it?
That's it,
Yeah,
Because
you know,
I'm not being funny. Rey Mysterio ain't exactly fucking going around killing people, is he?
No.
And he was Eddie Guerrero's best mate.
Yeah, exactly. That is mad. Like,
And there's-
loads of people have suffered trauma in their life. Like, you know what I mean? But it don't make people like switch and I'm going to kill everyone who I meet. You know what I mean?
It's like that American footballer, was Angel Hernandez or Fernandez or something like that.
Yeah.
He had a major concussion, had to retire and that, and then he ended up killing people.
Yeah.
It's like, how though?
There's something in the brain, in it.
That's what I mean. It's the most amazing thing, but it ain't that fucking delicate. One little thing goes wrong, and you're done for.
And you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
So you have to look out your old brain helmet.
Yeah.
Always wear a hat, guys.
I've got a headscarf. That'll do. I'm keeping it warm.
I'm not applying to this. October 79, he then lures a Hong Kong student named Andrew Ho back to his flat for sex. So clearly something's going on there.
Ho was a right ho.
Do you know what?
The second you said that name, I saw his face just go.
When I wrote it down earlier, I thought, they're going to say something like this. I know it.
I can't help it.
Neither can he.
Well, no, we can't now, no.
But yeah, so apparently he tried to strangle him in what Nilsen says was a bondage play session.
Oh.
So, but Andrew escapes and he reports this to the police, but doesn't press any charges.
Right-ho.
So, again...
Fuck's sakes.
But yeah, so
Ho's a
they
dickhead.
don't know if that's because he wasn't out to anybody. He's a Hong Kong student, so he's somewhere like... Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's... Is it frowned upon in China? Hong
Yeah,
Kong?
probably around that time. Well, you think it was only
that
just
time.
made illegal in the UK?
Yeah.
I don't even know when it was in China.
Even if it is.
Even if it is.
Yeah. Might not be, to be fair.
So, yeah, that could be why. So, yeah, he escaped, bless him, but the next guy was not so fortunate. So then in December 79, so literally like 2 months later, so they're starting to get more frequent. Kenneth, I'm going to slaughter this last name, Octodon?
I think I've got it written down as well.
That's a shape, isn't it?
Octagon.
Ockenden.
Ockenden, there we go. But yeah, so he was a Canadian student, again.
Yeah, sounds about
Students. So, like, I think from that, you can see, like, there's a trend.
Yeah.
He's going for people that clearly don't know many people around here. You're not going to notice them.
Weak and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not only that, you're not
Vulnerable.
going to notice if they're going missing. It's like,
No.
they're not got family members around here.
No.
So,
And in that time, it's not like you can just message someone on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or send them
Yeah.
a quick text. It's
Yeah.
a letter. It's a phone call.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And if you think, oh, my son's out in the UK on his studies, you're not going to expect a call
No.
every single day, are you?
Nah. No.
So, yeah, which I think is really sad because he clearly
Yeah.
preyed on them people that.
Yeah,
it
let's
then-
say
Yeah.
weak and vulnerable people.
But
Quite a few of them were homeless as well, weren't they?
yeah,
Which, again,
relied
if they go
on that.
missing, you're not going to...
Yeah.
But they ended up going sightseeing for the day, which I think he's got to have something about him to. Because would you imagine meeting a random person in the street and just going off sightseeing with them for the day?
No.
Because I could never.
But then again, back then, that could... Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't think...
Yeah, people were more
True.
social creatures
Yeah,
there
exactly.
because you had to be.
You had to be. You didn't... It's like,
didn't have phones.
Nah, bruv, I'm watching Stranger Things on Netflix. I can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have that sort of shot.
I'll text you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, at least, yeah, it's right. You didn't have that. So, yeah, the only way you could actually talk and make friends was to actually
then-
go
yeah.
out and meet people.
And I suppose
Yeah,
if
I
a few of
suppose
them were homeless, they just love the company.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? They've just been
Place to
sat
stay
there.
for the night, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere
Yeah.
warm.
Yeah, and you might, yeah, like you say, might go and empty promises. I'll get, I'll buy you dinner.
I think he did with a few of them.
Yeah,
He said, like,
Yeah.
he did. He cooked them, like, meals and all sorts. And gave them, like,
Wait till they were
baths and all
drunk.
that shit, and then get them drunk and kill them.
But
fucking hell.
yeah, not a great house host. But so
Really?
yeah, so Kenneth starts listening to a record with his earphones or headset, and what he does, Nilsen gets the headset and strangles him with it,
I was gonna say I was waiting for like the
and then
gets a fucking
Yeah.
cord or something.
afterwards he puts the headset on and starts listening to the record that the guy was listening to.
You could have just said, "Can I have a listen?"
Polite about it.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard, is it?
It's fucking my turn!
yeah. Fucking hell, it's my record player.
So he just leaves this guy dead on the floor. And the next day, he starts taking photos of him. He watches telly with him. He bathes him again. And then, again, puts him under the floorboards.
I'm sorry, but it goes all through all that effort to watch a TV show of him, to bathe him, then like, there, I'm done with you now. Down you go.
Yeah.
And then, apparently, so this is really strange. But he keeps getting him back out to spend time with him. And what he told the investigators afterwards was that he found him beautiful.
Right.
Like, he found his skin and his body beautiful, that it almost brought him to tears.
That's a bit weird.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
that,
doesn't-
it's like an obsession kind
Yeah.
of thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Like, do you think about that with Scott?
Can't say I've looked at his skin and thought, wow,
I'm
you're
gonna
bringing
cry.
me to tears.
Yeah.
What moisturiser do you use? Is it Dove?
He's got that body butter out. But then he does cook them, so he must use Anchor or Lurpak. I'm sorry, people must be fuming. I can't help it. Like.
We say all the time, though, we bring as much light as we possibly can.
Yeah.
We're not disrespecting the bodies themselves, like the
No.
victims themselves.
No, because like say they, as long as like, we get their names out there, so they ain't dying.
Yeah,
in vain.
exactly.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the sad reality with serial killers.
you
They're
remember.
the ones you remember the killers' names. You can't remember hardly any of the
No.
victims at all.
No.
That's like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
I couldn't name
Well,
you.
you'd be here all
victim,
fucking day. In all fairness,
But yeah,
Well, it's
how
30
many he had.
recorded, isn't it?
recorded exactly. If you knew
But
them all,
he reckons he killed up to like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
100,
mean.
200
Over 100,
people. Yeah.
Bastard.
That is mad. Like, how do you find the time? Because it's not like an easy process, is it? It's not like going fishing or something.
No.
Is it? Like, you get your rod, reel, bait, and everything. Is you're killing someone, dragging them. Oh, nah, too much effort for me.
There you go. Ed will
that's
never
good.
be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Ed will never be a serial killer because it can't be us.
That is actually one thing that they said about him while he was working at that job centre. He used to have a lot of time off work
Right.
clearing up.
Yeah.
And then, but he'd always make up for it by doing overtime and working weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they never did anything about his attendance.
No,
Thing
just-
is, right? Because no, they wouldn't. I'd have said like people would have gone like they'd have said they've gone missing, like, and it'd kind of like coincide with his off time. Like, you know,
But if they're
but
not getting
then
reported,
again, it
no.
wouldn't. No, they
Like I
wouldn't.
said, he would. If he
didn't
was
rush 'em.
clever, of getting rid of the bodies, he'd never been caught.
No, I think he probably would have eventually.
Yeah, probably.
Like you said, like
But the thing is, because it was like one house and like 6 flats,
Yeah.
they're all sharing the same drainage.
yeah,
So it'd been like the other floors and that would have complained about the blockage. He wouldn't have done it because he knows what's fucking blocking them.
yeah,
So if they didn't complain, they just got on with it.
yeah. He could have killed a lot more people.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then it'd have been like the whole thing like Ho got away, so maybe another
Yeah.
one might have got away, and then it'd have got him then.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he got caught when he did. I mean, it's a shame he didn't get caught sooner.
Sooner, yeah. Because I know the police got a lot of backlash for it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, this happened over a 5-year time period. It's like, how the fuck could you have not known a serial killer was going around for 5 years?
But then again, like you say, like a lot of them were students, weak,
Yeah,
vulnerable
exactly.
people,
They
homeless
didn't have
people.
a clue.
No, it's not like they got family members saying, "Oh, I don't know where
My kid is."
Yeah, I don't know where my brother is," because no one cared about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they were here studying, so
That's the worst part about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just
So-
that
No one
no
was
one
missing.
notices.
no, so he was intelligent in that sense,
Nah.
but that was about it.
Yeah, so then we move on to May 1980, where he meets 16-year-old Martin Duffy, who was a runaway from Liverpool, I believe, Merseyside, and
Yeah.
he, again, homeless.
Right.
So he was a 16-year-old boy who was homeless, runaway. So, usual MI, gets him back to his flat, offers him somewhere to stay for the night, gives him food, doesn't do that, strangles him, same thing, drowns him, bathes his body, and what he told while he's been interviewed was that he was the youngest looking body so far.
Oh, God.
And to switch things up a little bit, he stored the body in the cupboard instead of the floorboards.
So the one who he said had amazing skin, he puts in the floorboards, but the one that was just the youngest, he puts in the cupboard. Do you know what I mean? Like,
He would then go through periods of self-loathing where he would cry and he would spit at himself in the mirror because he hated himself for doing it.
yeah,
But it never stopped him doing it again.
actually,
No,
done.
yeah.
But he still carried on.
Like an addiction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because even like with smoking now, I hate that I smoke, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop.
No.
Yeah.
You know, it's like anything. The amount of people who I know who smoke green are like, oh, I hate it. I wish I never done
And you're
it.
like,
but-
why don't you stop it? It's like, you
can't.
can't.
It's that, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, I do get. That's harmless. Killing people. It's on different fucking...
Yeah,
I don't think you can class like killing people as harmless.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
that's a different story. You know?
So yeah, but there was only actually one victim identified from that flat, which was William Sutherland, I
Yeah.
believe. He was a father in August 1980. He was also a male prostitute. Went back. They met in a pub. Went back to the flat. Same MO.
Yeah.
Strangled, drowned, bathed. I'm not sure if he was in the cupboard or he was
Under...
in the floorboards.
Yeah, or
not
anything
sure.
like that, yeah.
But yeah, and then I find this quite interesting. So Nilsen then goes on he struggles to remember his fifth victim. Apparently all he remembers, he's an Irish labourer between the ages of 27 and 30, and they met in the late 1980s. But he then later on goes back to say that he made that up to satisfy the police, to give them more, because they wanted more.
Right.
So, and he does that more than once.
Oh, right. So the actual number could be lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with his, when he was, like, being questioned and that, even though he was telling them in full detail how this happened, they couldn't actually charge him because they never had a name.
Right.
So, for all they knew, he can turn around and go, well, I don't know how that body got there. Do you know what I mean? Or, like,
Yeah,
he found
yeah.
the bag and didn't know what to do with it. There was no... Until they had a name, they couldn't put two and two together, so to speak.
Right. It's like, yeah, just a load of John Does.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, fair.
Because if they were questioning whether to do it or not, but they was like... Because, like you said, that one victim that was identified, he was struggling so long to give him a name. And when he actually did give him a name, they had to prove that this person was then dead. Because obviously, if they charged him with that then and there and took him to court in that, and then he comes through the door like, surprise, I'm alive!
Yeah.
Whole case is dropped and he can't get charged for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was a bit of a mayhem they had with it.
Yeah.
He didn't obviously help the situation.
No.
Yeah, and then next victim, again, unidentified, male prostitute. He said that he couldn't work out if he was a Filipino or Mexican man. He was slender, between the age of 20 and 30. Again, they met in a pub, and he said they met in Salisbury Arms, to be precise.
Right.
And he said that he just resembled a gypsy. I don't know what that means. Because first he's saying he's Filipino, then he's Mexican.
No, he's a gypsy.
No, he's a gypsy. I don't know what correlation that means, but again,
Yeah.
unidentified. No one knows who that was.
No.
If it was even true, if he just made it up. And then in November 1980, again, another unidentified male, English, homeless. And Nilsen believed, from what this guy told him, that he'd had a hard life of suffering. And killing him was as easy as taking candy from a baby.
Like a mercy killing. Like he was doing him a favour.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Right.
And the guy, because it was easy, the guy was like,
welcoming
willing.
it.
Yeah.
Welcoming it. I don't think that's probably true.
No.
No. I seem to struggle with that.
And then in the same month, he then attempts to kill Douglas Stewart. Again, went back to the flat. And Douglas woke up with his ankles bound to a chair with... Basically, Nilsen was straddling him while being strangled with a tie. But he manages to overpower him. And what Nilsen does is, instead of fighting back, just shouts, "That's fine, take my money."
Mm-hmm.
So he's making it sound like to the other people in the flats
that he's being robbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's straight away thinking of a story to cover up what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then again, Doug reports this to the police, and the police class it as a lovers' quarrel, and nothing gets done about it.
Fucking hell. So that's
So again-
twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many fucking chances did they need?
It's bad, isn't it? And then again, apparently this is another made-up one. Either between November and December 1980, he met a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, long-haired hippie, and he killed him and put him under the floorboards. And then I don't know when, but then he cuts him up into 3 pieces, and that's when he starts putting them in plastic bags.
Right, okay.
Which then obviously doesn't help. Well, it does help. Like, it speeds the decomposition up because you think it's in a bag.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
It's like there's nothing like air or anything getting to it. It's because it's all sealed shut, and the heat inside it just make it.
I feel
go
like it'd
quicker.
be the other way because like, the oxygen would cause the decomposition over time. I'd have thought.
It's just what some sources said.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I didn't think too much into it until I just said it then, and I thought,
Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
when you see like a vac sealed, that means
Yeah,
it
I
keeps
don't
it
think they were
fresh.
vac-sealed,
You
though.
you know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
don't think they had that then.
But like like when you get like fruit and veg, I know it's a bit different. And your meat, it's always plastic bags.
Yeah.
So isn't that meant to save it?
Well, I suppose it's just a Tesco bag, and you just
Tie it up. It ain't gonna
Still
do
getting
much as
into it.
well.
No, true.
don't know.
Maybe just to help stop the smell, I imagine.
Would it?
Well,
It helped a little
yeah,
bit.
it'd help a bit because they said like
Keeping it concealed, I suppose.
Yeah, 'cause
Think
when-
about it.
they went in. Oh, then again, when they entered the flat in the first time,
Yeah, so
they said the
stank.
smell was so overwhelming.
Yeah, but I think it went that mainly because the head boiling in the fucking
No, it could have been, yeah.
stove. It's a conundrum.
Yeah.
Maybe there's people out there who actually do this and that. Let us know. We'd
Give
all,
us some advice.
yeah. We're just going on what we think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We get somebody's probably watching that. And you're talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You dumb cunts.
You have no clue about decomposition. Sit down.
But yeah, and then it moves on to 1981 in January. He met an 18-year-old blue-eyed Scot, is how he
Right.
described him. I don't know if that means Scottish. I'm assuming that's
I
what it
imagine
means.
so, yeah.
But yeah, they met in the Golden Lion in Soho. Again, goes back to the flat. They get into a drinking competition, and Nilsen kills him. So same scenario again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the following month, another unidentified male. He was from Belfast in his early 20s. Again, strangled him and then stored him in the floorboards. So, yeah, there's a lot. And then this, I believe, is the final victim in this flat.
Yeah.
So he met this guy in, again, no name, Leicester Square at a food store. And
Right.
apparently he described him as a English 20-year-old skinhead.
Right.
So, again, went back to the flat for food and drinks. He killed him. And what he did with this guy, he hung the body in his bedroom for 24 hours.
Maybe because, like, being a skinhead, because they were very homophobic and stuff like that, he probably, like, lured him back and was like, I'm going to teach you a fucking lesson.
Maybe,
kind
yeah.
of thing. And, like,
Right.
hung him like a martyr.
But again, later on, he doesn't. They don't know if this was made up or this was the truth.
Yeah,
Because
true.
Yeah.
unidentified.
You're never going to
Is
know.
he just
John
stringing
Doe,
along
yeah.
or, but yeah, so at this point, obviously, the flat reeks. And it's plagued with flies. He used to try and use fly spray to stop the flies.
Stop killing
Even
people.
though,
Yeah, it's just-
the bodies are filled with maggots, apparently. Like,
Yeah.
he said in one interview that when he pulled the floorboards up, the maggots were coming out, they're bulging out the eye sockets. I was like,
Nice.
you know, when you read something, you're like,
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't read that. That was...
Thing is, I'm so desensitized
Yeah.
because of horror films and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, it won't bother me.
No.
But I think, I don't know, I actually seen it in the flesh.
I think it's the
that
stench would
Yeah.
get me more than anything.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst, I think.
I think I'd be alright with it. I've had to rub drains out. I'm used to shitty smells.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
shit.
and
and
then decomposing.
decaying body. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Never know.
If anyone does like a crime scene where there's dead bodies, can I come have a sniff? See if I'd be alright. Nah, don't. That's
It's not a
mad.
serious question.
Yeah, nah, that's mad. Nah, please.
You'll get an email now.
Yeah, you
Wanna see a
need
dead body?
professional help.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a bit mad. I apologise. We've lost viewers, Josh.
The subscribers are going down.
Yeah, okay. Just as we bought.
It's alright, I'll support your merch.
Hey.
At least you got one.
I'm already giving Josh my money to get me one. So yeah, now apparently this is when the neighbours then start complaining. And Nilsen tells them it's structural issues with the building which is causing it to smell. So, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Surely then people didn't believe him.
No, because mould and decaying flesh, I imagine.
Two
Two
completely
different
different
smells of-
things.
Yeah, different smells completely. Like, well, I don't know.
So what he then starts to do, he realises he needs to tidy up. So he starts dismembering the bodies this is where he then boiled the skulls.
Yeah.
To speed the process up. He used salt to brush off the maggots off the bodies. And and apparently, when he was describing this experience to the investigators, he said he had to drink heavily.
Yeah.
To get through it, and was consistently vomiting throughout the whole process.
I could quite imagine.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'd be a bit,
I can't imagine him just going,
concerned.
you know, like fucking, what's the Disney film? Snow White, you know, at the beginning where she's cleaning and all the fucking animals coming in out. I can't imagine it being like that.
Just a rabbit jumping through the window. Like,
Yeah, just...
what the fuck? Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Oh, I tried to think. Like, it makes me,
Nice.
I mean, I could do it to an animal, but I don't know if I could do it to a person.
I don't think I could. Like, it breaks my heart when I see a dead deer on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
What do you mean, yeah?
Oh my god.
What do you mean, yeah?
What are you on about, mate?
Cap!
Complete change topic though. Did you see that guy post on Wishbeach discussion page asking people to tell him where these dead deers were, as long as they weren't mangled, to feed his dogs? Did you not see that? I thought,
Bit fucked up, but at the same time, I kind of get it.
No, I watched a program this year, it was quite a while ago. It was like my weird obsessions, like kind of thing. And a bloke was obsessed with eating roadkill.
What the fuck?
I think I've seen a video on that or something.
What he used to do, like he'd find
It's in
roadkill.
America.
No, I think it was England. And he'd take to the vet and say, "Is it safe?" And if they said, "Yeah," he used to take them home and eat them.
Free food, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I thought, like, that's not a bad shout. And sometimes, mate, when I hit that deer last year, and it didn't die, I was fucking fuming. Because it went under both wheels of my truck, and I go over it, and I was like,
Venison.
well, no,
I was I'm venison burgers tonight, boys.
I was just more angry. I'm thinking, if you fucked my truck up, it's just how it. Let's say went under both wheels. My truck weighs 3 ton. With me in it, so about 3.5. It got up, shook itself off, and ran off. I'm like, you fucking bastard. But I thought, if I stop and look and see what it's done, and it's badly damaged the truck, I'm going to run after it and kick the living fuck out of it. But I didn't. I went straight to my old man's, and then I looked, and it weren't too bad, to be fair, but you could see where I hit it, because most of his fur was...
Yeah, I did that in the Land Rover. I was going to the yard, and you know when you can see him on the side of the road, and I thought, I know what it's going to do. So I started slowing down. With that, it just jumped in front of my car. And honestly, I felt the car go over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, rang Scott. Because it was dark, and I think I saw it got up. And then I rang Scott and I was like, I need to talk to somebody because I've just ran a deer over and I'm freaking out. I was like, what if I've killed it? And he was like, it's alright, we'll go back and get it. And I was like, no, we won't.
You should have told me, I'd have come and got it.
Nah, it weren't died. It weren't dead.
It would have been dead after I was finished with it.
But yeah, when I then drove back home, I literally like 10 minutes later, it weren't there.
No.
So I thought, that's okay. And then the next day, I was clearly it didn't learn its fucking lesson because it was mangled on the side of the road. I thought, well, you got away with it yesterday.
Same day?
Well, I'm going to assume it's the same day because it was the same place. So I'm like...
It's a fair point, to be fair. But no, like, but it's mad the damage they can do.
Yeah.
Bloke at work hit a deer in his van, and that mangled the whole front end. It just completely mangled it, and I was like, fucking hell.
I imagine people in Canada and like Alaska when they hit a moose.
Oh, God.
The moose is fine. Truck's done for. The moose has just gone. Just walked off. You're like, are you mad, bro?
But no, but but to be fair, like I think I'd eat roadkill, but it's just the fact I've got to stop,
get it,
put it in, then go to the vet,
then clean it and everything.
Oh no, that bit don't bother me. Like I could skin and gut a deer, like that don't bother me at all. But it's just more of the effort of taking it to the vet. Is it okay to eat? Yes, lovely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not. Then I've just wasted my time picking this fucking deer up. Yeah, nah. But then you see them and they're just too far gone, where they're like, you know, when they're kind of brown.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
Because there's one on the E27 and its legs are like stuck up.
Do you see his guts are like on the side of the road as well?
Yeah.
Me and Sween drove past it the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna be sick. I was like, nah. I was like, oh, and then yeah, nah. I'm not gonna keep talking.
I remember seeing it, and then I was like, oh, I could go for a kebab.
Ed.
I fucking love you. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Someone on the YouTube's watching. Literally better take a bite out of a kebab and just go,
Nah.
nope.
I'll have out of it. I'm good, Chief. That's why I life.
Oh, fucking hell.
But, like, you eat meat, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you think you could... I know this has gone mad
Nah,
tangent.
Yeah, this has
I
gone
know what you're
mad.
gonna say.
Do you think you could take an animal's life to then eat it? No.
And then I think that makes me obnoxious, is that the word?
Hypocrite.
To eat it.
Hypocritical,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I could never... I love animals.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just see a pack of meat and I don't associate it with
With
the
an animal,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, like I've said in the pub and that before, like if I ever had to fend for myself, I'd be ruined. I'd be dead because I just wouldn't eat. I'd be too scared to eat some plants in case they're poisonous. I'd be like, honestly, I wouldn't be able to kill an animal. I'm not fit as anything. So I'm like, if I was getting chased, I'd just be like, alright.
What about a fish?
It's too gunky to... Yeah. I'd be able to catch one, I think.
And don't walk with it. Just like,
Put it back.
there you go.
Yeah, just take a picture. Alicia, survival, but take a picture. Whoa. How was that tea?
What are you doing?
I couldn't kill it. It looked at me. It looked surprised.
I don't actually know with fish.
Ah,
I wouldn't... Like, if I just had to leave it on the side, I'd have to walk away. I wouldn't be able to sit there and watch
that's
it.
cruel, though. Like,
No, you want to kill it quicker. Like,
Yeah,
quick
that's
knife
the
in
way-
the head and it's done.
It's just...
Yeah, I suppose that is more worse, isn't it? Leaving it on the
Yeah,
side.
literally watching it suffocate.
Yeah.
Have it.
You will die soon.
I'm just not going to do it.
No, just... There's... You could get like... It's a little bar. It's only about that long. They call it a priest. Don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just know they're called that. You get your fish, and just one, you got to hit it hard. Just one hit, bang, straight at the top of the head, done.
In between us, punch it to death.
What was it, a fucking shark? It's a fish. Can't put it back now.
I'm not eating that. It's come out the fucking sea.
Disguise the smell. So once he decapitated them while clearing out his flat, he then would burn them in the garden. But to disguise the smell, he'd burn tyres with it.
Right.
So no one would...
Yeah.
Yeah, but just some rubber.
Yeah.
I'd be fucking fuming though. You imagine that you're trying to like watch telly or have your tea or something like that, and all you could smell was burning rubber.
Oh, fucking horrible.
I'd be going out there, and be like, "What the
What
fuck are you doing?"
But
And then seeing an arm sticking out. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
All right.
I'll leave you to it.
But so apparently when he was doing this though, like when he was burning the bodies, there was 3 kids just watching. Just 3 young children out on their bikes, just stood there watching. And like they, like maybe now they'd know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the
They were
time
watching.
they
At the
probably
They wouldn't have
time,
had a clue.
They think they're just watching some flames, wouldn't
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You
Not
wouldn't
awful.
even think, even
You
if
wouldn't
they.
think body, no.
Nah, of course not,
they?
because
No,
he's.
especially if they're young
Even
kids.
if
It's
even
the
if there
last
weren't
thing
a,
you're gonna think
yeah,
of.
exactly. Even if there weren't a tyre there, just the smell of burning flesh, you wouldn't, as a kid, think that's a burning body.
No, you just think, "Oh, that smells."
Yeah.
yeah,
Fucking reeks, let's go.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's a bit weird.
That just shows kids are thick as pig shit. Hey, hello. They see fire and they're just like, wow. You're like, there's literally a body there, bruv.
Mate, we're nearly 28 and we're like that with fire.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but we know there's not a body in it.
That make me get the petunias out.
And so what he would do after these fires would then check the ashes to make sure, and apparently in one of them he found a skull, and so he just got a rake and smashed it
Yeah.
just to get rid of anything. So he's now back in the flat by himself. So again, this loneliness factor comes in. So he wants another
body.
victim. So that was a lie. That wasn't his last victim. And he meets Malcolm Barlow, and this is really sad. Like, this breaks my heart. So he had quite a rough life. He was orphaned, brought up in care, but he was also epileptic and suffered quite badly. And Nilsen found him because he was having a bad reaction to the medication he was currently on, and he was slumped against a wall. Nilsen took him to hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, when the next day when he was better and he got discharged, he went back to Nilsen's to say thank you. And he never left.
See, it's what manners gets you, people. Gets you
Don't do it.
It gets you strangled and bathed.
Yeah, and he put him in the cupboard under the kitchen sink.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
It was awful.
Did he cut him up or did he contort him?
I don't know.
What? I'll just think
Cupboard door just pings right open.
right. No, I think of Pennywise in it. You know, in the first one.
Oh, that film creeps me out.
Oh,
He comes out-
When it comes out all like,
yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
So yeah, and then it comes. So that was actually his last victim in that flat. Sorry.
Right.
And then in mid '81, the landlord wants to renovate the flat, but Nilsen is obviously against this, and basically very resistant. The landlord gives him £1,000 to vacate the property.
For fuck's sake.
Could you? And that was a lot of money back then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a lot of money
it's still
now.
a lot of money now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind £1,000.
No.
But look, then there's a lot more.
That's a lot of money.
So yeah, and then so that obviously means he's now got to get rid of Malcolm's body. So same thing, dismembers him, burns him,
Fucking no.
he moves out.
Yeah.
And
Thing
that,
is, can you imagine when they start renovating? Because like they lift the floorboards, the smell is gonna be there still, isn't it? It just hits them like. Whoa.
And unless you've been around like a decaying body before, you're not going to know what that fucking smell
No.
is.
You'd think, fuck me, what have they been doing there?
Yeah, exactly.
You just see it's gone off meat.
Yeah.
Like, why has he left chicken breasts down?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in the floorboards.
But yeah, and nothing ever got reported. Like when they renovated the flat, nothing.
No.
No.
He must have
Honestly.
he must have done a clean to it or something.
Or like as best he can, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then that's when he then moves to the attic flat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go from here or?
Go on, Josh.
I mean, if you've got the body victims. Like I said, I haven't got anything to do with the actual killings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
No, you're right. This is a good thing.
So when he then moves into this attic flat, apparently it's quite a nice area of London that he moved into. It's quite a wealthy part. I didn't write it down what part it was, but yeah.
It's probably somewhere.
Somewhere
Oh,
posh in
yeah.
London.
No, but I meant like on the internet, like to see where it is. I know what I meant. The viewers know what I meant. You pair of piss takers.
Right, stop. Serious. I feel awful for like laughing. I'm like,
Oh, this is just us.
it's like,
Yeah,
This is just us.
don't laugh and cry.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when he then moves into this flat, he lures in 23-year-old John Howlett. And this John woke up to Nilsen strangling him. So John fights back, but Nilsen basically uses ligature.
Uses what? Sorry.
Ligature. Something to...
Right. Okay.
No? Okay.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
I thought it was like,
A ligature.
like your ligaments. I thought it was something to do with that.
Well, he's already cut out his ligaments. Fucking hell. That was quick.
So yeah, but he strangled him 3 times, and this guy kept waking up.
Yeah.
So
Determined.
yeah. So then Nilsen decides to drown him for 5 minutes
Jesus.
to make sure he's definitely dead, and then proceeds to dismember his body. And this is when he starts flushing the organs down the toilet, and he puts the large bones in the body in the rubbish bin.
Right.
So that's how he then started. Yeah. And then in 1982, he then attempts to murder Carl Stutter. Again, brings him back to the flat. This is a bit weird, this one, though. So, this guy then falls asleep in a sleeping bag, and he wakes up to what he thinks he's being strangled, but then he's thinking, oh my god, I'm caught in the zip, or in the sleeping bag or something. And so then when he then kind of comes to, he realises he's being drowned. He's being like put in water and pulled back out, put in water, pulled back out. And then but Nilsen don't kill him. Well, he does. Well, he thinks he has. So he puts him in the armchair because he thinks he's dead. And this Carl comes back around unaware of his surroundings because Bleep was licking his face. The dog woke him up.
Dog saved today.
Big up the dog.
And so Nilsen pretends that he's trying to resuscitate him.
Yeah.
And then walks him back to the train station. Tells him that he got caught in the sleeping bag and that's what he was putting him in the water to try and wake him up. And then walked him back to the train station.
There's a lot better ways to try and wake someone up than to drown them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And this
but
guy...
if he's someone aware,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
he's going to think, I'm
Days.
fucking hero.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the trial, or everything started coming out in the news,
Yeah,
that he then came forward and he was like, I knew that wasn't what
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But,
So that's the third
Yeah.
that's got away
Yeah.
so far.
So, yeah, he got away with, to be fair, quite a few, and nothing comes of it.
No.
I mean, 2 went to the police. I don't think he did.
He
No,
didn't
he
until
didn't go.
during
No.
the trial. And
No,
everything.
Yeah.
he come forward. And the next victim, he was a 27-year-old tourist named Graham Allen, and this guy was lost just trying to get some directions to where he was going. Again, he lured him back to the flat for food, and while he was eating, he strangled him, again with a ligature. You have to
Big up the
Google it so
ligature.
you know what it is.
Yeah.
And he keeps the body in the bath for 3 days.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All slimy and horrible.
And he then proceeds to dismember and dissect again. Organs get flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following year, in 1983, he then kills a 20-year-old called Stephen Sinclair. This again's quite sad. He was a heroin addict. This is actually his final victim, to be fair.
Oh, right.
He was a heroin addict living on the streets. So Nilsen goes and buys him a burger and then asks, basically, do you want to come back to the flat for some drinks and you can stay the night? But he ends up taking heroin back as well. So he takes heroin there. Obviously, that just puts you in a...
Zombified.
Yeah, it just knocks you out, doesn't it? And that was basically his perfect opportunity. So he strangled him, bathed him, lies in the bed with him, but applied talcum powder to him. And then, so this is where the mirror and everything comes into place.
Oh, yeah.
This is when he then he put him in the bed, surrounded him, covered him in talcum powder, I'm assuming to look more dead.
Yeah.
Places mirrors all around him, starts taking photos, and then just lays with them all night. And then, whenever he was ready, he then decided to dissect the body, and he stored him in the wardrobe. Some of him in the wardrobe, and some of him under the bath, in the drawer under the bath.
Right, yeah.
So that was the torso they found?
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, because he couldn't burn them, again, he started flushing the organs down the drain with smaller bones. And then this is when the pipes become blocked and the neighbours start complaining.
And then he got caught.
Yeah.
One thing to add to what you said, though, when the plumber initially questioned Nilsen about it, he turned around and said, it's KFC.
Yeah,
It's
I forgot about
chicken
that,
meat.
actually, yeah.
It's chicken meat and chicken wings.
Fucking hell.
And it weren't until they went back the next day that they were like, hang on.
Yeah.
That's not chicken.
Chickens don't have livers that big.
So he's a bit... So, yeah.
So, I'll let you.
But, so, like Lisa just said, he did go into, full detail about basically every victim and how we killed them.
Yeah.
However, the whole thing was absolutely irrelevant because, like I said, the police couldn't officially charge him because they didn't have any of the victims' names. That was until Nilsen finally remembered one of the victims' names, which was Stephen Sinclair. However, the police still couldn't charge him in case he got the name wrong, because if he was taken to court and Stephen Sinclair was discovered to be alive, then the whole case would be dropped and he couldn't get charged for the same crime twice.
No. So they couldn't charge him with the murders?
Not until they knew for 100% that this Stephen Sinclair was dead.
You'd have thought, though, just being human DNA, that's murder.
But at the
This
same
is
time, then
83, innit?
and as well, Just because it's in his body, in his flat, it doesn't mean he's killed him.
Right.
He could have just found a random bag of found body parts and thought, what the fuck do I do with it? Do you know what I mean?
But he confessed.
Yeah, but...
They need evidence, don't they?
Yeah.
Still need evidence to charge someone. Because, I'll get onto it, but he was crafty. He was a very crafty bastard.
Yeah.
Well, during this time of him being questioned, the pathologist was actually examining the latest body and discovered that, like Alicia said, that even though he'd been strangled, his actual cause of death was drowning due to his lungs being filled with water. At this point, they realised Stephen Sinclair was dead and Nilsen was actually officially charged and taken... it was then taken to his original house, where he'd done the majority of the killings, to point out where some of the bodies were buried. During this time, it was even reported that Nilsen, like you said, had bathed with some of the bodies and apparently left the police force because he was caught masturbating in the morgue.
Right.
At this point, the headlines was blasting the police for not knowing about these murders taking place over the last 5 years. This angered Dr. Peter J., who made it his mission to identify and charge Nilsen with every single murder.
Right, yeah.
To which the police managed to discover some of the names of the victims, those being Kenneth Ockerden, Martin Duffy, William Sutherland, Malcolm Barlow, John Howlett and Stephen Sinclair. During the same time, Nilsen was visited by an author called Brian Masters, who asked Nilsen if he could write a book about his life, to which Nilsen agreed. When it came to Dennis Nilsen's court sentencing, he was charged with the murders of the 6 men whose bodies were identified, as well as the attempted murder of Douglas Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
However, he shocked everyone by pleading not guilty, meaning a trial was needing to take place.
Bastard.
Yeah.
And this is where I say he was crafty. Because to which, when author Brian Masters asked Nilsen why did he plead not guilty, he said it was to try and enter a plea of insanity and diminished responsibility, which is the exact same thing that Peter Sutcliffe tried to plead for as well.
Yeah.
And he said because he never actually planned to kill anyone, he didn't know that even though if he killed them, he took them home with the most pure intentions of feeding them, bathing them, giving them roof over the head and everything.
Yeah.
He even said that if it wasn't for his dog, he may have even handed himself in.
Right.
Do you want to know the awful thing about that dog as well?
What?
I read this thingy that said that the dog was his final victim because it got put down as soon as he got arrested. The police destroyed it.
The dog didn't do anything.
Isn't it awful? And this source that I was reading said about how that was his final victim and only female victim. And I thought, it's like, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
But how? Because why would they do that? Because the dog didn't have nothing to do with it.
No.
Perfectly healthy dog. They can't.
Yeah.
That doesn't know any different. Do you know what I mean? They didn't partake.
No. I didn't hand him the fucking scalpel.
No.
You know what I mean? Hand him the, what was it, a ligature?
Yep. There you go.
Didn't hand him the ligature saying, go for it, Des.
Ligature, fetch. Just go.
No, I think that's fucking bastards. We don't deserve dogs.
We don't. That even though everyone knew he was not insane at all, it still had to be proven that Nilsen was showing. It still had to be proven that Nilsen was showing some kind of abnormality of mind and not fully responsible for his crimes. Because this meant if this was found out to be true, he would be charged with manslaughter and not murder.
Yeah.
You can't manslaughter 16 people.
You can if you're not in a state of mind.
If
If you have no
insane.
idea what you're doing. You've killed people, yeah, but you've not done it. It's not premeditated. It's not premeditated.
No.
Whereas the police had to prove that Nilsen had carefully planned and premeditated these murders. When it comes to the trial, Nilsen actually had the exact same defence team as the Cray twins had.
Yeah?
It didn't do them a lot of good, did it?
Well, no.
So, if you're ever thinking of this, if they're still in jobs and
doubt
everything...
it.
Doubt it, yeah.
I'll say they're
I
probably-
doubt it, but let's just say they are. Don't use them. Because that's 2 major people that they've defended.
3, technically.
3, and they've all ended up in the nick. And now all 3 are dead, actually.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to I just said that. At the trial, the first to testify against Nilsen was attempted murder victim Douglas Stewart, to which he claimed Nilsen tried to strangle him, but Douglas overpowered him. A further 2 men testified against Nilsen, with them being Paul Nobbs and Carl Stotter, or Strotter. What was his name? Carl?
I had Stutter. But
Stutter.
It might be.
Stotter. Carl.
Apologies
Carl.
if it's wrong.
As well as testify... what's the word I'm looking for? Not because you say, like, you're going to testify something. What is it you say, like... Because I've got written down, as well as testifies from the police, but that's not right, is it? Testimonies, that's the fucking word. Honestly, I read this last night and I was sat there for ages trying to figure out this word and I couldn't figure it out, so I just put testifies.
Testimonies.
As well as testimonies from the police. Well, on November 3rd, 1983, the jury found Dennis Nilsen guilty of 6 counts of murder and 1 attempted murder. Nilsen was sentenced to 25 years minimum in prison. However, this was changed in 1994 to a whole life tariff, meaning he would never be released. Mm-hmm. Now, during his sentence, he spent time in some of the most notorious prisons in the UK, including HMP Wormwood Scrubs, until he was cut in the face by another inmate, HMP Parkhurst, before he was transferred to HMP Wakefield, where he remained up until 1990, where he was transferred to HMP Full Sutton, and in 1993, he was transferred to HMP Whitemoor, where he stayed until 2003, which is just down the road.
I was going to say, that's a march, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is a bit mad.
Because apparently when he got put into... I don't know if this is when he'd been put into jail or was in custody. He had a... Instead of having a toilet, he had basically a bucket.
Yeah.
And he threw it at the thingy. So he got put in, like, isolation for... Which, to him, that's brilliant.
That's perfect.
He's away, because you think... I'm not being funny, but he's killed children.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna... He's not going to be popular in prison,
No,
is he?
no.
So
I think in all of
they
these
should have
prisons...
just left him with the
I think
others.
a majority
That's
of these
probably why he had
prisons...
to get moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a good shout.
I think in the majority of the prisons he was isolated because... Like, we've said it countless times, but the one thing with prisons, anything involving a child...
Yeah.
You're done for.
You're fucked.
You are done for.
So he stayed at Whitemoor until 2003, which is when he transferred back to HMP Full Sutton, where he stayed until his death in 2018. And that was the story of Dennis Dickhead Nilsen.
Yeah. But something I want to add to that, like people we know who have worked at Whitemoor have said that they were put on guard for Nilsen, and apparently he was the most well-spoken, politest, nicest people that like,
you could ever
speak to.
Which is common with what he done with the police. I know it was all mad, but he was... Do you know what I mean? He was helpful in the investigation.
Yeah. It just shows that, like, anyone who you talk to, you think, oh, he was a nice old boy or something. They could have a very dark fucking secret. The
thing that baffles me is, like, with the police, that must have seriously pissed them off. He's helped them so much, like, pointing out where the bodies are, who they are, etc. You know, he's got full detail.
Couldn't...
And then at the end of it, for him to turn around and go, not guilty,
you
must have been like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think one thing they said in the show in that, which I don't know if it's dramatised, because I've seen some documentaries saying it as well, he genuinely believed that he had some sort of abnormality of, like, the mind or something.
Which...
He genuinely did not think he was an out-and-out murderer.
Well, no,
and that's why he was so desperate to help the police and everything. But
a lot of people...
Was this the plan from the whole get-go?
Maybe
like,
trying to manipulate
in a way, like, turning around and going, well, yeah, I might not have killed him, but I've helped the police as much as I fucking could.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, he can't be as sane as to people for the act...
Well, no, this is what I mean.
He's done,
it's like, if this has to happen nowadays, would he have been charged with manslaughter?
I think he'd have just been...
He'd get away with mental health for
that's what I mean.
Easily.
I think he'd have been more, like, he'd have been banged up in, is it Broadmoor? The mental asylum?
Yeah, Broadmoor, yeah.
Yeah, he'd have just gone there, I think, more than anything.
But what? It's a bit mad where he's been to, like, you think the UK prisons, the main ones you think of, especially for us because it's, like, local, but Whitemoor, Parkhurst, Wakefield... Like they're the big three,
big
including
Cat-A's.
Broadmoor,
Yeah.
You got the big four. He's been in every single fucking one of them.
Did you say he went to Broadmoor?
No, but other than Broadmoor.
Right,
like,
sorry.
Broadmoor makes the big four, but they're definitely the top 3 Cat A's. And Wormwood Scrubs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the major Cat A prisons that every fucker knows.
Oh no, I don't think he had mental. I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was trying to satisfy a need that he had.
Yeah.
And
It
he
just never could
couldn't-
satisfy
no.
it.
It was the itch he couldn't scratch. There you go.
But just imagine being like these few survivors, especially like the one.
God, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, lucky.
Well, yeah, very lucky, but at the same time,
But
thinking
you'd
fuck,
think,
you was
fuck now.
literally that close
Yeah.
Yeah, to be murdered.
to being another victim.
Yeah. No, it is mad. It is really mad. But it's the same with all the other serial killers we've mentioned. Like Dahmer again. Like a few who got away from him. Like how do they feel like they could have got eaten?
Yeah, Sutcliffe, he had a few get away,
Yeah.
and that was simply because somebody was like coming around a corner or whatever.
Yeah, I know. He was a shit serial
He
killer.
was
really.
fucking useless.
Really. I mean, he did kill a fair
Yeah,
few
he was
people, but-
one of the most. I think he's got the most, didn't he? UK.
Well, no, Dr. Death.
Oh yeah, Shipman's got the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a video on that the other day, actually.
Yeah. Was it from Mr. Mysteries in black and white?
Yeah, it was actually.
There we
I
go.
was
There you
thinking,
go.
oh my god, I listened to that the other day. Oh yeah. See,
There
told
you
you.
go.
I'm a weekly supporter. I'm in. Every Monday evening.
That
Very
is mad,
much.
like, because I know we obviously know them because we're obviously in this country,
Yeah, yeah.
but worldwide, a lot of like the most notorious serial killers have come from this country.
Yeah.
If not, well, we've got the biggest that you're doing.
Yeah, boy.
You got Shipman,
Yeah.
Sutcliffe,
And Nilsen.
and Nilsen.
Well, then, like you say, you got like Fred and Rose West.
Yeah.
The more Mara Hindley and
Ian Brady,
Huntley.
Huntley, Belfield. There's fucking loads.
Yeah. There was.
Dennehy, Ralmo.
Yeah.
It's mad, like, how many the UK has actually had.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. But when you think of like a serial killer, you do think of like Ted Bundy, Dahmer, people like that.
It's
The
like the
thing is,
American,
until the
isn't
John
it? 'Cause you
Gacy.
hear
The thing
so
is,
much.
until the Dahmer show come out, I had no idea who the fuck Jeffrey Dahmer was.
Really?
Like, I'd never heard of him at
Oh,
all.
I
God.
was gonna say,
I knew of like John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy,
Yeah, yeah.
but not a fucking Scooby who Dahmer was.
Circus guy, clown, wasn't he?
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the first documentaries on like a serial killer I ever watched.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
another one that a lot of people think's innocent as well, don't they?
What, John
You
Wayne
see-
Gacy?
Yeah,
You
very,
joking?
yeah. No,
Fuck off.
you look at. I've seen some documentaries, and there's loads of people. You know, similar to Jeremy Bamber.
Yeah.
A load of people are saying he didn't do it. It's like,
He clearly did.
yeah,
He
it's
very
like,
much clearly
unless,
did.
what more evidence do you need? Him to do it right in front of you?
Yeah. They were all in his basement.
Well, that's
and
what I
that, in
mean.
his
It's
crawl
like, how the
space.
fuck could you say he didn't do it?
He started putting him in the walls, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah, because he had a construction company. But
And he'd
no.
get him in for interviews. Oh man, that breaks my heart.
Huh?
He used to get him in for interviews, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is mad. That is mad.
that's me officially done with serial killers for the season.
Yeah.
That's the last one
Well, it's
of
not
mine.
though. It's not though,
Hey.
is it?
What we got next week?
Well, we have got the most famous killer who is still unknown of who
I
it
thought you was
was.
about to say he's still walking. I was like, he's definitely not.
There's
He's as dead as the dodo, brother.
There has been films made of him. There's books. There's theories. He is the pinnacle of a serial killer, and especially in British history.
Yeah.
And if you haven't guessed, I am talking about Jack the fucking Ripper. And I can't believe that I've got that.
Yeah, jam me back. Wasn't it like, was it rock, paper, scissors or heads and tails?
One or the other, yeah.
Bastard.
But, I mean, it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I remember being a kid and, like, my mum, like I say, she always said she could commit perfect murder. I mean, she can't now. Ooh. And I remember being a kid and watching, like, documentaries with her and stuff. Probably shouldn't have, when I think about it. But, you know, I ain't killed anyone. I've come out all right. But yeah, and I remember like the first ones was like about Jack the Ripper and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I always remember, and then it was just like like the thrill of not knowing who
Who
he
he
was.
is.
He was never caught.
And still to this day.
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
who he is.
Even though they think some people could be it, they're never going to know it's 100% this person.
I think it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
they've
That
got
they've got narrowed it down to.
Yeah,
But you're never going to know.
no, exactly. And that's what I mean. I just love the mystery. I love the myth behind him.
Yeah.
And like the reasonings, like there was, I mean, yeah, he killed prostitutes, but there was still no real reason like for doing it.
I'd love to go there, Whitechapel, just
Oh,
to get
yeah,
a sense of the feeling of like what is.
He
do you know what I
walked
mean?
these
Yeah,
streets.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I can't believe it.
But even that, like, it just sounds kind of morbid. But even that sounds cool. Like the Whitechapel murders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
that proper like storybook title to it.
Yeah, but like you just know when it's Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
It's just that is just it's a beast.
Especially it's
isn't it?
like obviously he never come up with a name.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Like
his name's not even Jack.
his
probably.
name could be fucking Bob for all we know. Imagine that after all this time, Jack the Ripper's name is Bob. He's just like right.
But yeah, so I ain't gonna go too much into it. That's gonna be next week. I'm gonna be researching all week now. I've got to do it fucking justice. You know what I mean? One of the most famous things to come out of Britain. So it's
Just well, I don't know. Thanks for listening.
here I'm old boy. See you next season. But no, you can to find out what we're doing, a bit more on it. You can follow our Facebook group, which is Missing Mysteries in Black and White. You can follow us on Instagram, which is Missing Mysteries _, the actual underscore line thing. You can email us with, that could be sightings, questions, theories, critiques, praises, which we prefer. Absolutely anything. Ideas for future podcast episodes. If you want to be a guest, if you, let's say anything at all, please email us at missingmysteries@outlook.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow us on TikTok, which is Missing Mysteries 10. And you can follow us on Twitter, which is Miss Mysteries 1. You can watch us. What you say? Actually, watch us. You can like and subscribe, put the little bell notification, all that jazz on our YouTube. But again, easiest way to find it is for our YouTube Facebook group. Thank you, Josh.
It's been a long night.
It's been a long night. You can listen to us, even though you are now, to Josh.
Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Podchaser, Player FM, and iHeartRadio.
Fantastic. Alicia, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for letting me come on.
No, you've been a brilliant guest. We'd love to have you come back. Yeah, of course. Anytime we talk about true crime, a murderer, a serial killer.
We're sorted. We'll just sit here and listen.
Yeah. That's what
about
I mean. That's what I mean. No, you were absolutely fantastic. We've really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But
thank you so much.
That's all right. No worries. But no, thank you ever so much. Hopefully we've got some good stuff coming out soon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give too much away. But see you next week.
Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.
Happy hunting.